Hi, this is Amy Bradley, and you are listening to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast.
Show number 725. Welcome to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, helping you celebrate Celtic culture through music. I am Mark Gunn. I'm a Celtic musician and also host of Folk Songs and Stories. We're doing a special feature. The first episode is now available. It is a 6-part series called Quest and Chorus, and you get to join a little adventure, win some prizes, learn more about some of the places we visited on my Celtic Invasion vacations, and hear Irish, Celtic, and folk music. But of course, this podcast is just for fans of Celtic music. We are here to build a diverse Celtic community and help the incredible artists who so generously share their music with you. If you hear music you love, please email the artists, let them know you heard them on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. And remember to support the artists if you can. Musicians depend on your generosity to release new music, buy CDs, album pens, join their communities. On Patreon, you can find a link to all the artists in the show notes, along with showtimes when you visit our website at CelticMusicPodcast.com or send an email to follow at bestcelticmusic.net. Irish Fest Atlanta is coming soon. It takes place in November 7th through 9th. Head on over to irishfestatlanta.com for more details, but there will be music from Open the Door for Three, Liz Carroll, and Tata. Lots of great stuff. Hope to see you out there. We kicked off the show with Olivia Barrett. That was The Mountain Blessing and The Secret Elsewhere from her album Elsewhere. Olivia Barrett plays the fiddle. And of course, this episode is highlighting the women performing Celtic music. Sometimes they're singing, sometimes they're playing instruments. And I'm going to tell you who's playing what with their groups or as individuals, so stay tuned for all that. In the meantime, let's play some music. Carroll Sisters Trio is up next. They have a new album out called Radiance. This is Liam Childs and Baby Dragon, and it features Emily and Nora Carroll, both on fiddle.
White Phoebus adorn the plains. 'Twas down by the shores of Lough I met with this wonderful dame. Her voice was so sweet and so pleasing. These beautiful notes she did sing, and the innocent fowl of the forest their love unto her they did bring. It being the first time that I met her, my heart it did leap with surprise. I thought that she could be no mortal, but an angel who fell from the sky. Her hair it resembled gold tresses, and her skin was as white as the snow, and her lips were as red as the roses that bloom upon Lough Erne's shore. When I found that my love was eloping, these words unto her I did say. Oh, take me to your habitation, for Cupid has led me astray. Forever I'll keep the commandments. They say that it is the best plan. Fair maids who do yield to men's pleasures, the scriptures they say they are wrong. Oh, Mary, don't accuse me of weakness, for treachery I would disown. I would make you a lady of honor if with me on this night you'd come home. Oh, had I the lamp of great Aladdin, his rings and his genie once more, I would part with them all for to gain you. that you brought on with your wanton will.
Eimear, Arkins, and Eileen Gannon were after the Carroll Sisters trio. That was Lough Erne's Shore from their album The Bells of St. Louis. Eimear Arkins sings, she plays fiddle, and she's an Irish dancer. Eileen Gannon plays the harp. Then came Scottish Fish from their album Currently. That was Zoe's and 3X. We have Ava Montesi on fiddle, Caroline Dressler on fiddle, Julia Hebel on cello and piano, Julia Homa on fiddle and piano, and Maggie MacPhail on fiddle and piano. And we finish up the set with Muireann with Blackwaterside from Toinn, which means Seaborne. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. It's definitely, the spelling is still having trouble with, but it's coming along. My Duolingo is helping a lot. Muireann plays flute, whistles, and sings. I want your feedback. What are you doing today while listening to the podcast? You can send a written comment along with a picture of what you're doing. Let me know what Celtic band you saw recently, or if you found a new Celtic CD, you can email me, follow@bestcelticmusic.net. Gwendolyn Glussman emailed some photos, and of course, she also emailed me in Irish. You can read it over on the website at celticmusicpodcast.com/show number 725. And while I would try some of it, I there's a bunch that I can't pull off. I tried, I sat down with it. Hi, breathless on. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So here's what she wrote. I got the English translation. Thank you, Google. Hi, Mark. Happy birthday. We attended the Gaelic Festival in Seattle yesterday, and Cavort was playing Gaelic music. It was very enjoyable. Here are 2 photos for you. Looking forward to when you read this on the podcast. And P.S., do you use Discord these days? Thank you, Gwendolyn. No, I don't really use Discord. I just have never gotten into it. I know we have a Discord page that I set up, and I just haven't touched it, so I don't. If you want to check it out, sign up on Patreon. There are others who are using it, I think, last I checked, but it's been a while since I've looked at it. But thank you for all those who continue to use it. Christopher emailed, "Hello, Mark. It is I, Chris Toller, again. Well, you always ask people what they're doing while listening to the podcast, and that question segues neatly into a PSA sort of reply from me today. So I was on my way to rehearsal with my Irish Celtic music band, Fitzblarney. You can find a link in the show notes. Since St. Patrick's Day is rapidly approaching, and we have a few gigs coming up. Anyways, it was on this drive that I was listening to podcast 698, Ramble Through the Valley, Well, early into the show, I heard Louise Bichon's CBC Winnipeg, a great tune on its own, but it also included an old clip of Where Has My Highland Laddie Gone? With such a rough vintage quality, and it reminded me of the old RTE series, Come West Along the Road, Irish Traditional Music, and I'd like to talk about that briefly. Now, I can't emphasize enough how awesome this program was. Videos of live performances of musicians, Seanos singers, step dancers, set dances, lilting, and vocal groups in and around Ireland from the 1960s to the mid-1980s. I just had to buy the DVD versions of Series 1 and Series 2, and I am always on the hunt for 3 and 4. These discs contain some 2.5 hours of live traditional Irish music video performances, sometimes on stage, sometimes in pubs, sometimes on dance floors. I know that this is something you would absolutely love if you aren't already familiar, as well as many of your listeners. Some of the video performances are available on YouTube, too, to just dip your toe into the waters. I do know that as a patron of the show, the music-only option is available to me, but personally, I prefer the full cast. I enjoy hearing the artists' names, listeners' letters like this one, and other informational bits. So I figured if some listeners did not know about these videos, and if they are fans of your podcast, they might be inclined to check them out. Anyway, thanks again for all you and your team's hard work. Happy upcoming birthday and happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much, Chris. I haven't heard of that particular series, but I will definitely go and see if I can find some of that over on YouTube. All right, let's get back to the music. Niamh Dunne is up next with Ballyneety's Walls from her album Portraits. Niamh Dunne plays fiddle and sings.
The moon was bright golden brick, and everything was still. It was for the foe in ambush. We lay beside the hill. Like a lion's bold, we waited to die.
After Niamh Doom came Old Man Flanagan's Ghost with Danny Boy set, Devil's Dream, Uncle Henry's Real, Angus Campbell from their album Live, and that features Bexy Ashworth on fiddle and vocals. Or at least vocals in the band, because that was a set of tunes. And finally, Chloe Matharu with Butterfly from Sailors and Rolling Stones. She is a Scottish Indian singer-songwriter, harpist, and harmonium player. Very cool. Thank you so much, patrons of the podcast. Because of generous patrons like you, the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast releases new episodes nearly every single week. Your support doesn't just fund the show, it fuels a movement. It helps us share the magic of Celtic music with thousands of new listeners and grow a global community of Celtic music lovers. Your contributions pay for everything behind the scenes: audio engineering, stunning graphics, weekly issues of the Celtic Music Magazine, show promotion, and most importantly, buying the music we feature from indie Celtic artists. And if you're not yet a patron, you're missing out. Patrons get early access to episodes, music-only editions, free MP3 downloads, exclusive stories and artist interviews, and a vote in the Celtic Top 20. Join us today and help keep the music alive, vibrant, and independent. A special thanks to our Celtic legends, Dave and Rosie Donnelly, Rick Boyce, Bruce Daniel Ide, Brian McReynolds, Marty Myers, Alan Schindler, Margreta Silverstone, Emma Bartholomew, Dan McDade, Jeff A., Gerald F. Boyle, Miranda Nelson, Nancy Barnett, Kevin Long, Gary R. Hook, Lyndon McNeil, John Sharkey White II, Kelly Garrett, Mike Schock, Annie Lorkowski, and Sean Kelly. Thank you so much for your amazing, generous support of the podcast. Here is your 3-step plan to support the podcast. Number 1, go to our Patreon page. Number 2, decide how much you want to pledge every month. $4, $12, $25, $100. You can do an annual membership as well if you want to save a little bit. Number 3, keep listening to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast to celebrate Celtic culture through music. You can become a generous patron of the podcast on Patreon at songhenge.com. Jen Midkiff is up next with her track Phoenix. This is from her album All in Good Time, and Jen sings and plays the harp.
Trusted me. I have hurt the very ones that I love most. Everything I do goes wrong sooner or later. Disappointment burns like ashes in my throat. For I have failed, I have fallen, I have faltered. I am beaten down with worry and with pain, and I dare not even look upon your altar to see the cross and be reminded of my shame. How can I call out to you to help me? For this is all my fault. There's nothing you could do to take away the guilt I hold like a precious thing, since it's all I have. As the ashes cover me, and yes, I know I'm not alone, that there are others who must hurt the ones they love and so hurt you. Yet they praise your name like we're still in the garden, as if such hypocrisy could be loved by you. For they fail, and they fall, and they falter, and they must surely feel the weight and take the blame. How dare they come inside of the altar? The ashes must choke them as they cry your name. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. All the bright and shiny things I do will tarnish and rust. Ashes to ashes, how can I return? I can't go on like this. The guilt will burn me up. And you whisper to me, they fail, yes, they fall and they falter. But when their grief and sin become too much to bear, then they come and bring their burdens to the altar, and listen, listen to me. I'll sing you a song of the fish in the sea. And it's windy weather, boys, stormy weather, boys, when the wind blows. We're all together, boys, blow ye winds westerly, blow ye winds blow. Jolly sou'wester, boy, steady she goes. And up jumps the eel with his slippery tail, goes up aloft and he reefs the topsail. And it's windy weather, boys, stormy weather, boys, when the wind blows. We're all together, boys, blow ye winds westerly, blow ye winds blow. Jolly sou'wester, boy, steady she goes. Then up jumps the shark with his 9 rows of teeth, saying, you eat the dough, boys, and I'll eat the beef. And it's windy weather, boys, stormy weather, boys, when the wind blows. We're all together, boys, blow ye winds westerly, blow ye winds blow. Jolly sou'wester, boy, steady she goes. And up jumps the whale, the largest of all. If it's a wind that you want, boys, I'll blow yous a squall. And it's windy weather, boys, stormy weather, boys, when the wind blows. We're all together, boys, blow ye winds westerly, blow ye winds blow. Jolly sou'wester, boy, steady she goes.
Stricken town after the fair maid morning, she was making sair complaint for her true love ne'er returning. So fare you well, ye Mormon braes, for oft times I've been cheery. Fare you well, ye Mormon braes, who was there a lost my dearie. There's many a horse has snappered and fallen and risen again. So fare you well, ye Mormon braes, for oft times I've been cheery. Fare you well, ye Mormon braes, who was there I lost my dearie. There's as good fish in the sea as e'er have been taken. I'll cast my line and I'll try again, for I'm only aince forsaken. So fare you well, ye Mormon braes, for oft times I've been cheery. Fare you well, ye Mormon braes, who was there I lost my dearie. So I'll go down to stricken town where I was bred and born in. There I'll find another sweetheart who'll marry me in the morning. So fare you well, ye Mormon braes, oft times I've been cheery. Fare you well, ye Mormon braes, who was there I lost my dearie. So fare you well, ye Mormon braes, oft times I've been cheery. Fare you well, ye Mormon braes, who was there I lost my dearie.
Well, on the road to sweet Athy-ho-roo, ho-roo. Well, on the road to sweet Athy-ho-roo, ho-roo. Well, on the road to sweet Athy, a stick in the hand and a drop in the eye, and a doleful damsel I her cry. Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, ho-roo, ho-roo. Your guns and drums and drums and guns, ho-roo, ho-roo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer. Johnny, I hardly knew ya. mild, hooroo, hooroo. Where are the eyes that look so mild, hooroo, hooroo. Where are the eyes that look so mild when my poor heart you first beguiled? Why did you run from being the child? Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. Where are the legs with which you run, hooroo, hooroo? Where are the legs with which you run, hooroo, hooroo? Where are the legs with which you run when you first went to carry your gun? Indeed, your dancing days are done, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. Your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. You're having an arm, you're having a leg, hooroo, hooroo. You're having an arm, you're having a leg, hooroo, hooroo. You're having an arm, you're having a leg. You're an armless, boneless, chickenless egg. You'll probably put out a bowl to beg, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. It grieved my heart to see you sail, hooroo, hooroo. It grieved my heart to see you sail, hooroo, hooroo. It grieved my heart to see you sail, to see you come back blown to hell. By God, our true love will prevail, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. To see you home, hooroo, hooroo. Happy boy to see you home, hooroo, hooroo. Happy boy to see you home from the island of Solo and flesh, high and bone. Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. With your guns and drums and damned old guns, the enemy nearly slew ya. My darling dear, you look so queer, Johnny, I hardly knew ya.
After Gin and Midkiff came Rambling Sailors with Fish in the Sea from Kenway's favorites, and Susan Siskos sings and plays guitar. After that was the Bordercollies with Mormund Braze from their album To the Hills and Back that features Carrie Thompson on vocals, Anna Darmansky on fiddle, and Lisa McCann with ballroom and vocals. And we finish up the set with Plunk Murray, Johnny I Hardly Knew Ya from their album Another Drink, and Aaron Boom Chick Bliss plays the drums. All right, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I hope you will continue to support the women of Celtic music because definitely there are a lot more men playing music, period. And so it's always great to support those who are underrepresented, and women definitely deserve it because you've heard the music. They're amazing. So show your support for some of these artists today. Make sure you visit their websites, buy some of their music. Say you heard them on the podcast and whatnot. We're going to finish up the show with the Friel sisters. Oh, and don't forget to vote in the Celtic Top 20. Celtic Top 20. That's a great way to help all of these Celtic women be heard in the future. So go cast your vote for something that you enjoyed in this episode. We're going to finish up the show with the Friel sisters. This is on Dark from their album Northern Sky. It features Anna Friel on flute, tin whistles, and vocals, Sheila Friel on Ilian pipe, flute, tin whistles, and vocals, and Claire Friel, she plays fiddle, tin whistles, and vocals. Thank you so much for listening. Here's the Friel sisters, Sláinte.
By night and day I dream a while and hear a distant call. I send the moorland heather in a glen in Donegal, and soon perhaps I'll sail again the wild and windy sea that leaves me far from Erne and the friends I fain would see. And in my dreams I trace again the place I fondly pen, the lofty crest of Diarach and the braes above the glen. 'Twas there I'd muse in summer, in the blissful days of yore, of a world afar from Muckish and the heartlands of Githor. On many an autumn evening and sunsets on the sea, a haze of gold from Tory spread to Gola Innisfree, and on to Oy and Arranmore I hear an exile sigh, her last look back at Erne and a misty last goodbye. My thoughts go back across the years since I left old Erin's shore. A slanting sun on distant hills, the heaving seas before. A cuckoo called on Malin shore, the hills a purple hue, the parting sounds of summertime that broke my heart in two. 'Twas there I spent my childhood, but a wanderlust would call. A restless boy from the Rosses and his home in Donegal. I now an exile wander in a strange and friendless land, and all the dreams I cherished were but written in the sand. yet please God, a day will come when I'll be homeward bound. And oh, the joy that fills the heart as old friends gather round. And I will sit on Jira yet, if fate will only smile. I'll find again the bliss I knew, and dream perhaps a while.
Support for this program comes from international speaker Joseph Dumond. Teaching the ancient roots of the Gaelic people, learn more about their origins at sightedmoon.com. Support for this program comes from Cascadia Cross-Border Law Group, creating transparent borders for more than 25 years, serving Alaska and the world. Find out more at cascadialawalaska.com. And support for this program comes from Hank Woodward. Thank you all so much for underwriting this podcast. The Irish and Celtic Music Podcast was produced by Mark Gunn, the Celt Father, and our patrons on Patreon. The show is edited by Mitchell Peterson with graphics by Miranda Nelson Designs. Visit our website to follow the show. You'll find a link to all the artists played in this episode. Todd Wiley is the editor of the Celtic Music Magazine. Subscribe to get 34 Celtic MP3s for free. Plus, you'll get 7 weekly news items about what's happening with Celtic music and culture online. Best of all, you will connect with your Celtic heritage. Please tell one friend about this podcast. Word of mouth is the absolute best way to support any creative endeavor. Finally, remember our planet's future is in our hands. The overwhelming evidence shows that human activity is driving climate change, from record-breaking heat waves to rising sea levels. But the good news, we have the power to fix it. Every choice we make, reducing waste, conserving energy, supporting clean energy, and lobbying our political leaders moves us toward a more stable climate. Start a conversation today. The facts are out there, and the future is ours to shape. Promote Celtic culture through music at CelticMusicPodcast.com.